cloud of white there.
This video didn't really get a ton of attention behind it, as people probably just dismissed it as a really solid score and not something George was going to set himself out to FC. However, a month later, he showed that he was legitimately training for this, uploading him FCing from Solo Fill 2 and all the way to the outro where he would eventually drop a miss there. 2 days later, people were starting to realize that George had a goal in mind, and it was very similar to Chris Chike's mentality with the song. Just constant practice of the same sections over and over again. Full runs of the song over and over again. After countless runs and chokes on stream, George Boothby had obtained a 100% on Through the Fire and Flames at 125% speed. Except one thing, it wasn't a full combo. In an FC run, it doesn't necessarily mean that you hit every note, but rather you maximize the combo that is possible on that song. George had a heartbreaking overstrum in one of the easiest parts of the song, Herman Solo 2. Despite how visibly annoyed he was, he ended up FCing every other part he normally struggled with, and had gotten a 100%, but not a full combo. George would eventually go to take a break from Through the Fire and Flames, and Guitar Hero 3 in general. With the release of Guitar Hero Live, he wanted to just have fun with a brand new Guitar Hero game, and see what he could do with that. A few months later on April 13th, 2016, George was back at it, and he uploaded a very peculiar FC. It was an FC on Through the Fire and Flames, but it was with the Big Notes mod. While unexpected, it shed quite a bit of light on the song again, and maybe he was going to give it another shot at 125% now that he's back at Guitar Hero 3. After multiple chokes in the past, George had managed to pull it together and become the first person to FC the song on 125% speed on April 19th, 2016.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god. It happened. It fucking happened. It's over.
After the FC, George still had one last idea with the song that would catch the community off guard. He already FC'd the song with the Big Notes mod, why not do it with notes that are just a bit smaller? And as in a bit, I mean 1 pixel. That's right, a single pixel. That means in some cases, you wouldn't even be able to see the notes if they were directly on the measure lines at all. This made the run a mix of visual focus, phenomenal muscle memory, and not a lot of blinking unless you were that confident in the section you were playing. This would be the last unique FC George would get on the song, which would be on May 13th, 2016.
That's it. I'm done. Best thing I've ever done. I've done it again. I've done it again. I've done it again. How does this keep happening, guys? How? I don't...
And that concludes the reign of George Boothby. George had practically covered so many of the gimmicks by modifying the notes and became the first ever person to FC it on 125% speed as well, showing that his score optimization skills weren't the only thing he had to show on the song. After George's FC, Asai became the second person to FC the song on 125% on November 1st, 2016, and Darkly would be next in line on December 1st, 2016. Darkly's and Asai's runs were relatively low-key, as they had garnered nowhere near as much traction as George's run would. Darkly decided that maybe the song needs to be FC'd just a tad faster. He sped up the 125% version of the chart by 10% and managed to FC that not even a month and a half later from his 125% FC on January 16th, 2017.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god! Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god!
With that, Darkly now had the fastest existing FC of the song on 137.5% speed. While not the most traditional speed to FC a song on, it was substantially faster than what the previous FCs were done on, and this was now where the bar was set. It now seemed like this was as fast as people were going to bother to FC now. Most people thought the most reasonable speed to FC it on now was 150%, and not many players were interested in such a daunting feat. Some players had this goal in mind, however, but one of them stood out from the rest and went above and beyond with this chart in more ways than one. This is the story of Randy Ladyman. Now that we have gone over what speed hacking is and the gimmicks that were introduced with the song, we are now met with a player who managed to push all these boundaries in such a short amount of time. Randy Ladyman is another player who still reigns at the top of the leaderboards of Through the Fire and Flames, setting himself at 3rd place as of today. His earliest score on the song on his channel is actually a 150% run on May 2nd, 2016, with a score of 839,257 points. Then, a few months later, he would revisit the song again in his stream, improving his score by nearly 90,000 points and had a 98% score on it now. Like George's situation, he came back to this every once in a while, but this wasn't anything that he was going to spend day after day on it at the time.
Oh yeah! It would have been 930 if I didn't miss it almost there, but Jesus! That's 99%, I could guarantee you. Nope, not 99%.
Randy would then keep rapidly improving as a player, uploading FC after FC that would surprise himself each score he got. It would be some time before we saw another run from him again on 150%, and his next score would be another solid improvement, a -29 with a score of 939,204 points. This record would actually end up being short-lived, because Darkly would come out of nowhere with an insane score of 964,110 points and missed in very few sections of this run. The trill transition in Bridge 1, messed up the strumming after the triplets and twin solo, and lastly missed in the grace notes on Almost There. The most impressive part about this run is that he managed to hit the hardest part of the song in this run on 150%, the grace notes before What The, and we'll get into why it's the hardest section in a bit. Sadly, Darkly would note in his description that he simply had no desire to pursue an FC on this song, but he did note that it was now doable, and the footage definitely shows it.
Let's go! Whoa! I obliterated! Get obliterated, Randy! Let's go!
Randy eventually gave in to doing more attempts of improving his score again, and decided to test how close he can get to FCing it. On July 17th, 2017, he uploaded a -7 run, a 22-note improvement from his last documented run. This specific run of his was very odd compared to most of the closer FCs on this song. He fell behind on the strumming of Flying Free, missed in Solo Fill 1, missed the grace notes in What The, missed in the break of Twin Solo, and FC just about everything else. While this sounds like a lot, but really this was more or less great news, as he had now shown that he was capable of FCing most of the hard sections, and that now was maybe the time to close the gap and iron out the rest of the mistakes he made. However, Randy decided to throw us the biggest curveball imaginable, and decided that he had other plans. As a matter of fact, he would throw us 2 curveballs. Remember how I talked about Yukong Monkey's idea to FC Through the Fire and Flames with notes the size of a pixel? That's exactly what Randy did, except he combined George's 125% FC with his near invisible notes FC to get what Randy considered to be his best score ever.
I'm fucking done, dude. I am fucking done. I am so fucking done. What? Oh. Huh? What? That did not just fucking happen.
After this video, people began to wonder why Randy didn't just go for a blindfolded run at this point. A person by the name of Justin Elzig had a run posted 2 years ago of him, getting a 99%, so this already showed potential for it, but like any other FC, those few extra notes are what stop everyone in their tracks.
Do I have a shirt that I could cover my face with real quick?
so I could do a performance mode run. Essentially a performance mode run. I have a beanie somewhere. I don't know where it went though. Okay? Okay. Okay. I cannot see shit.
Randy would eventually attempt a blindfolded run, as he randomly decided to try it after looking around for a beanie he had lying around in his room on stream. On his first try on November 17th, 2017, he got a 98%, missing 50 notes. This run showed that he had the song memorized pretty well already. With a blindfolded run, however, the only things to guide you are the song itself and your own muscle memory. So these were skills Randy was going to have to develop as he was learning.
Damn it! Ah, that fucked up a lot of potential points, potential percent as well. Wow. Okay, whoa, 929. Holy shit. God. Okay.
A few months later, he came back and started to do full runs again and would set himself out to bring the note count down. On January 15th, 2018, Randy had cut down from 50 notes to just 3 notes left in the song, which were all in 3 different spots. The grace notes in Bridge 1, Solo Fill 2, and the transition at the end of You Rock. Although he had missed in 3 different spots, this definitely did not rule out the possibility of him getting it, as he did not think he was even able to full combo it until this run.
76? Oh my, -3. What?
There was no turning back at this point for Randy. This FC would write another insane chapter in the Through the Fire and Flames history books, and would be one of the most iconic FCs across all Guitar Hero games, period. Multiple chokes caused him to miss past the 2,000 note mark, and even had a miss as far as twin solo. Randy didn't give up in the slightest, because on January 20th, 2018, he made the front page of Reddit and Guitar Hero history that same day.
Ah, fuck! I thought I was on an FC. Motherfucker. Fuck! Fuck! God damn it. Ah! Oh, I'm a fucking dick muncher. God damn it. What? Am I on an FC? Oh! Woo! Hell yeah! Yes. Oh my god! Holy shit!
Through the Fire and Flames had went from being FC'd to being FC'd without even looking at the notes. Just pure memorization and phenomenal muscle memory had allowed Randy to do something not a single person would have thought was possible at one point. Randy had solidified himself as the king of this song, and now at this point he had one final goal: to FC it at the legendary 150% speed. Before he went for attempts on that again, he took a break from the song in general and focused